How's it going, folks? So today I want to first of all thank everybody out there that's been sharing my work. I always ask you guys to go check out my other pages, and I still encourage you to do so. But the most important thing you can do to help me out and to help this cause out, unless you want to come to one of my next protests, or if you want to get involved with this DCYF documentary, all the people involved in DCYF, get at me, because I'm going to start filming for this documentary like the next week. Like next week I'm starting to film for that documentary. So all the DCYF people that have been affected, get your evidence together, get all your intel, your audio, your video, and get the pictures of your children, and we're going to do this DCYF documentary. And also, not only that, but coming up soon here in Rhode Island, they're going to be legislating again, which is usually a bad thing, but I've got a couple positive tricks up my sleeve, and I'm going to be trying to introduce some legislation that would make it far more difficult for them to steal kids from us. And I just might know some Democrats and Republicans that are willing to help. So, most importantly, thank you guys for sharing the videos that I do, because that's the most important thing. I've been being censored lately, and it's not the first time it happens. I have all this documented too. And I also know the quote-unquote president of the interwebs, and he also told me that my name is on a list at Facebook. And this guy's got no reason to lie to me. He's never lied to me. He's only done anything but help me out. He's been... Shout-outs to Kenya. So, before I jump into it real quick, this is a topic that I've talked about quite a lot over the years, and I'm going to continue to talk about it because it's one of the most important things. And as I talked about in my last few videos, no one's going to save you. And then the Christians say, well, Jesus is going to save you. Well, also in Ephesians, it says, 5:11, it says, take no part in acts of darkness, rather expose them. And you notice Jesus got really upset the one time with the money changers, the banksters. So the CIA, the banksters, and Jesus and the Bible themselves, they say, you know what? You have to uproot that evil. You can't just sit there and wait for me to come back. But no one's going to save you. Trump is not going to save you. Bernie Sanders is not going to save you. None of these people are going to save you, because guess what? They come in for a few years, and the CIA and the Federal Reserve is still there, and nothing changes. The wars go on. The drones keep killing people. Just a quick side note, 30 Afghanistan farmers were massacred today in a drone strike. 30. We had a deck of like 52 people from back in the day we were going to kill. Remember the war on terror, the 52 people we were going to get? We just killed 30 random people, still, in this war. But I want to say thank you to Kevin, Lisa, Connie, Haley, Stephen, Wendy, John, Ruben, Erica, Roasted Studios, Kristen, Chrissy, Martin, Brooke, and Brandon for hooking me up on Patreon. Please go to Patreon/DemandTheTruth and meet me here. So, great. With that aside, now I'm going to get right into the full course meal right here. We're going to go right for the dessert, and I'm going to start reading from the New York Times, and then I'm going to hit a couple bullet points, and then if you guys have any questions or comments, I will gladly take those. So, first let me do the old switcheroo. Sorry for the extreme close-up. So, now this is retrieved. You can look at the date right there. This is a pretty old date on this, but I wanted to bring it up, and some people are going to be like, Will, this is old news. Duh, I know it's old news, but I'm going to connect it to stuff that's happening now, that's still happening to this very nanosecond, to this very second, and I was going to read this whole damn article today. That's what I was going to do when I got up, but I was like, but who knows, maybe we will. And this is the archive version. As you can tell, this is from 1977. CIA data show 14-year project on controlling human behavior. Keep in mind the CIA is inherently unconstitutional. We don't know how much its budget is, and also it's forbidden to operate domestically. That's the CIA. That's the FBI's purview. New York Times, July 21st, 1977. CIA data show 14-year project on controlling human behavior. Washington, July 20th. The Central Intelligence Agency conducted a 14-year program to find ways to, quote, control human behavior, end quote, through the use of chemical, biological, and radiological material, according to agency documents made public today by John Marks, a freelance journalist. Oh, and people all the time say, oh, you're independent. First of all, I've never claimed to be a journalist. I'm just an activist. But look, this wasn't broken by the big boys. This is a freelance guy. Mr. Marks, an associate for the Center for National Security Studies, asserted at a news conference that Admiral Stansfield Turner, Director of Central Intelligence, in a letter to the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence last week, quote, seriously distorted what the CIA research programs involved. Mr. Marks said, based on documents about the program he had received under the Freedom of Information Act, he concluded that Admiral Turner, quote, seems to be practicing what is used to be called a modified limited hangout. I could do a whole show on what a limited hangout is. When what he called the agency's activity a program of experimentation with drugs. He's talking about back in the day when the CIA was the one that brought the LSD out, and they were making the counterculture of that day. They were saying, oh yeah, man, we're against the system, man. Have some LSD, tune in, drop out. And so that's, to be sure, drugs are part of it. I'm not going to, should I read this whole thing, guys? What do you think? I'm going to read this. I'm going to keep going. But at least this paragraph here. To be sure, drugs were part of it, he said. But so were other techniques, as electroshock, radiation, ultrasonics, psychosurgery, psychology, and incapacitating agents, all of which were referred to in documents that I have received. So, of course, we could go on and on and on about that. And you know what? I am going to not go on and on and on about that because I've covered MK Ultra and what's happened since MK Ultra. They're talking about MK Ultra and other programs here. Goes on for a while. This is a fairly lengthy article. So the CIA, we don't even know how much money it gets from our taxes. But the CIA gets this money, and what do they do with this money? They use it to try to control the human mind. And this happened from even before, talking about Edward Bernays, the nephew of Sigmund Freud, who literally wrote the book on propaganda and coined the term public relations. And these people have been working with corporations and government for a very long time to control what we think. That's why limited hangouts. Okay, for example, I'll give you a couple limited hangouts. Trump and Bernie. They're limited hangouts. They might give you a couple things here and there, but they're limited. They're not going to tell you the real truth. They're not going to talk about the real centers of power. So that's just one thing. So the CIA, I want to talk about a few other things that's happened. The CIA has assassinated democratically elected foreign leaders, and they've also poisoned innocent children's milk in Cuba, supposedly fighting the communists there. This is all factual. I defy you to prove me. You can hear CIA agents admitting to this on camera in documentaries. Everything I can say, you can look it up. I'm going to show you some of the stuff, but you guys are going to go ahead and look some of the stuff up too. If you want to, I don't want you guys to believe anything that I say. But they went and poisoned little children's milk. They've assassinated foreign democratically elected leaders. And then when I've interviewed John Kiriakou, CIA whistleblower who first blew the whistle on torture, who was somebody that Snowden looked to actually do what he did, he was talking about how not only was he basically recruited through his college professor, and the CIA is not allowed to operate here, but yet they have college professors here. He also talked about how it was CIA policy that if one of their assets wanted a hooker, they would go get him a hooker. And it was also CIA policy to say, hey, if one of these people wanted a young child, most people would say no, but some people would not say no. So the CIA is out there procuring children, which is crazy. And then also even the BBC, which is the most mainstream media outlet in the entire world, arguably, besides the New York Times, which we're taking this from, by the way. We're not taking this from any crazy website. Taking this from the BBC and New York Times. And thank you guys very much for sharing this information. Even more important than going to Patreon/Demand the Truth and YouTube Demand the Truth is sharing this information, because most people, they think they can vote their way out of this problem, and unfortunately we cannot. We need a peaceful resolution, but it's not going to be through voting. I'm sorry, guys, because you can't vote the CIA out, you can't vote the Federal Reserve out, you can't vote the Bilderberg Group out. Sorry, you can't do that. Even the BBC admits that there were 5 CIA officers at the assassination of RFK. Now, Sirhan, by the way, in jail for 51 years for a crime that he did not commit. Forensically proven that he did not commit this. The BBC goes back and says, oh, there was 5 CIA agents there. The CIA is not even supposed to be here. That's the FBI's job. Then you had Operation Mockingbird, where the CIA in the 1960s spent over $1 billion worth of today's money to buy off journalists and all these other people in the media, in print and on TV. And what do you see happening today? And then also, in 2014, when Obama reauthorized the National Defense Authorization Act, it included a subsection which, according to Business Insider, legalized domestic propaganda. Now, the Associated Press, just recently, years after this came out, just did an article on August 27th of this year trying to debunk that, but if you read a little closer into it, it does allow for the U.S. to disseminate propaganda to other people. And on top of that, don't forget Big Pharma. Don't forget that every single head of these 5 to 6 media conglomerates that run everything that we watch are all members of the Council on Foreign Relations, by the way. You can't vote those guys out. So you got Mockingbird running what we're seeing back then to this very day. And I always like to throw this one in there too. In David Rockefeller's autobiography on page 202, in 2002, he talks about meeting, during his time in the Army, he talks about meeting William Paley, who at that time was the head of the Psychological Warfare Department. And then after the war, he went to go on and found CBS. So the guy that created CBS was previously the head of the Psychological Warfare Department for the United States Army. So that's just something to chew on. And then, don't forget about this. The CIA was also the ones, and people called me crazy. People in my own family called me crazy for this one, but I was proven right. Now there's even a Hollywood movie about this. Kill the Messenger with homeboy from Avengers. Rick Ross. No, not the fat CO that wears a bra who's a sellout and has a song with Jay-Z and John Legend called Freemason. Not him. I'm talking about the real Rick Ross. Yeah, the real Rick Ross basically unwittingly exposed the fact that the CIA was shipping in crack cocaine to the inner cities to destroy the black population. They just couldn't give up on the black people. They just wanted to keep killing and killing. And it didn't stop after that. It's still going on again. So the CIA poison little children, assassinate foreign leaders. The CIA also, too, there's also an article from, I forget the exact thing, but it's called Spy Talk. And they talk about how the CIA was faking Bin Laden videos. I've covered that one before. They're procuring prostitutes, all with your tax money. And we don't even know how much we pay them. So, in order to really change something, the first thing that we need to do is let other people know that there's a problem. Sunshine is the best disinfectant. We have to expose the fact that it's really the CIA, the Council on Foreign Relations, and the Federal Reserve, the Bilderberg Group, that are really running this country. It's not the Democrats or the Republicans. We've been choosing the lesser of two evils for a long time now. And the only person that really went up against the system lately was JFK. He said he wanted to shatter the CIA into 1,000 pieces. And look where he ended up. So let's all work together non-violently. The best thing you can do to help me out is share this video and if you don't like the way I present this information, go verify everything that I just said right now. MK Ultra, everything that I just said. The ties to the RFK assassination, Operation Mockingbird, Rick Ross, shipping in crack cocaine on purpose to just not only trading weapons, but to destroy the African American community. There's a Hollywood movie about it. They called me crazy before, but now there's a Hollywood movie about it. I ain't getting no apologies. Where the hell's my apologies? The best thing you can do is to share this information, whether it's from me or not. Share this video. Also, go to YouTube/Demand the Truth, Instagram Demand the Truth. I am on Facebook here. Give it a like. Demand the Truth, my page. Go over there. Just type in Demand the Truth. Give it a like because obviously the algorithm is being censored. So the best way you can do that, or get in touch with me on Messenger, or get in touch with me on my email and say, hey, Will, I want to help you out. I want to make memes. I want to start my own group somewhere else. I want to start my own videos. I want to show up to your next protest. I want to help you expose creepy Pat Crowley. I want to hack something for you legally and lawfully. I want us all to work together so we don't have to deal with these weirdos anymore, right? So thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much to my Patreons. You can go to Patreon/Demand the Truth. And thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much for those that shared this information. I think it's very important. So, peace out, folks. If I can find the button.